Good morning, everybody. Your turn to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Gal.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. And I see Spence there.
Morning, y'all.
Morning. And Nick is here with us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
Amnon, if I could just explain to the audience for a minute. The reason I wasn't here last week is I got on a red-eye flight out to California to try to get all my money out of Silicon Valley Bank, so I missed the Sunday show. Protesting outside of their San Francisco facility, so I deeply apologize.
Did they give you Bitcoin instead?
Yeah, they gave me a bunch of IFOUs. What a disaster.
I read something that, what's his name? That Thiel,
Peter Thiel?
yeah, said that his money, like million or something like that, was frozen for a little bit before he got it. I mean, what special? I mean, certain people got their money and certain people did not.
Yeah, I don't know how it all ended up working out, but
Well, the first ones to pull out, they got the money. But after that, the bank needed to stop because it couldn't liquidate.
yeah. By the way, that amount of money that they pulled out was like $42 billion over about a 48-hour period that was withdrawn from the bank. It was some ungodly amount of money.
Because most of the account had the above more than $250,000, right? Which is what
Mhm.
FDIC
That didn't kick in
insures.
yet. That didn't kick in yet.
Even if that would have kicked in, right?
Yeah.
The amounts that are there are much larger because there are investment accounts.
Roku had what, $60 million or more?
No, it was way more than that.
Or
They had like
600 million. Some crazy amount.
It was some crazy amount. It was something like 68% of their liquid assets.
Was sitting there.
Yeah.
But
don't worry, the government bailed them out. So
you're guaranteed only 250,000.
Yeah.
So that's like fiscal irresponsibility. You got it sitting in there, and there's no protection except they're going to be protected,
of course,
until the money runs out.
Well, that's
to print money.
Boy, now we're trending into different territory. Yes, the money will never run out. There'll always be more free money.
Yeah, it's nice not to have to worry about stuff.
Well, I mean, you and I would have to worry about it, but
Yeah,
if you have $600
exactly.
trillion in a bank account, you don't have to worry about it somehow.
Yeah.
Other people's money.
So what else been happening?
I had a successful upgrade of my FX machine. I bumped it up to 16 on the memory, and I put in I upgraded the SSD and reconfigured and took cards out and put cards in and just did a overall cleanup, and working good.
Nice.
I used to have a video editing machine that was just a quad, and I abandoned that, pulled the drive out of that machine, put it into this machine. So now I have access to the files, and any video editing I'm going to do on this machine now.
Nice.
And it's running great. I mean, the issues I had before were gone, and it was definitely the PNY 240 gig SSD, which was I figured out was almost 8 years old.
You may have been hitting
Wow.
the limit.
Yes. Yeah. So no more rewrites.
Yeah.
Yeah. And back then, it wasn't exactly the best technology or methodology they used.
It's funny that you mentioned that. You've refurbished a machine that's what, over a decade, close to a decade old, if not older at this point, and it's amazing what RAM and an SSD will do for a computer. I mean,
I mean, this was a gamer machine. This was an overclocker
yeah.
special, and I've got it on like the uh, default. I'm doing some overclocking a little bit, but
Mhm.
I'm not going to the extreme. But I selected like the default good environment, not basic.
Yeah.
Running good. Yeah. I need to upgrade my video card though, but for what I'm doing is fine.
What's in it?
Oh, that's always the question.
Yeah.
To upgrade or not upgrade the video card. I've been toying with that for the last 2.5 years. Tell you what,
What
it's pretty amazing when you're talking about doing a hardware upgrade. That we've talked a lot about how the GPU market is just has been in kind of a mess. But as I'm playing more and more games, I'm not noticing. Obviously, yes, the resolution isn't ultimate or the highest, whatever. But overall, I'm just not noticing the need to dump out 5, 6, $700 on a GPU. It's as the as the video game engines mature and as the hardware matures, the developers become better and better at making things look better and perform better. And I think you're at almost a saturation point with that, where um, the developers are just so good at or the engines or whatever's doing the graphicalization is just doing such a good job getting that stuff rendered down and can display it that I'm rocking I've got a 1070. This card came out in like 2015. And I'm still playing the most modern AAA titles like Call of Duty on. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think it's also when you mature and you realize that every time when you got a new GPU, it wasn't a big deal. It was okay, but you
No, that's
always
not true.
you want what?
That's not true. When I upgraded from my 950 to this thing, it was like a whole nother freaking world.
Oh,
And so, and I had before that I had a couple of AMD cards that kind of
but
sucked. They were cheap.
but
But
why did
this was an expensive card when I got it. It was like $300.
you upgrade? Was the older one really getting to the point where you were not enjoying the game?
Yeah, I was at the time where I was doing some video game live streaming and
Yeah.
I couldn't game and stream at the same time.
Okay.
So this card gave me the ability to do that. And I haven't really done that since, but yeah, it's no, that's part of it too, I'm sure. And unfortunately you come to the point of now diminishing returns on these cards. And that's why you're seeing this, these, some of these higher end GPUs are well over $1,400 and nobody is buying them because the returns are, as you mentioned, Amnon, literally non-existent. You'll have the enthusiast grade that buys them, the guys that are trying to get the top benchmark scores in 3D Mark or some of these other pieces of software. They're hobbyists. They overclock. It's like a car, somebody that dumps thousands of dollars into a car. But for the general consumer, I'm just not seeing it right.
So this has nothing to do with the fact that gamers just want to have the latest and greatest. I just want to have the latest one. I mean, I don't know if
Well, you
There's
do.
an aspect. There's
Yeah.
an aspect that Nick didn't mention. Back then, his previous card would not even start up the game that would come next year.
Hmm.
This has seemed to have stopped for at least the past 4 years.
Yeah, I remember
So
that. You buy a card and it would come with a disc with APIs for specific games.
we're not there anymore,
Anymore,
or
yeah.
at least for the meanwhile, until the cards come up with a new technology that will only be available through certain games, blah 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 blah. But
Well,
that's
see,
no longer the case.
they did do that, and they did it with RTX. That was supposed to be the hot thing, right? RTX on was going to be the thing that changed the video game industry. And now you've got all these guys that have these RTX cards, and nobody turns the RTX on because there's seemingly no benefit. It doesn't. It's cool if it's a cool feature, but it doesn't dramatically change the performance. So there's
Yeah.
no reason to upgrade it. And it's the same thing that Brian and I have talked about on Infection. The reason these next generation game consoles haven't sold as well because they were still making backwards compatible games for the last couple of years. So why upgrade? And that's kind of I think that's where a lot of folks are finding themselves right now is until I'm unable to do something, which will eventually happen. I mean, you eventually hit a point where the technology literally can't keep up. But until then, I just I'm saving the cash. I don't know. Brian and I have been talking about he's looking at a new GPU and I can't justify it.
Yeah.
Which is not good for the hardware market because
But it's
they
good
they
for
need
your market, your pocketbook.
it's good for my pocketbook, but long term it has side effects and impacts on the hardware market, which is a traditionally a very low, especially on video cards. The margins are seemingly non-existent. I mean, they buy the cards from Nvidia or AMD practically at cost that it costs you and I, and then they do their little bit of their little tweaking, they put their shroud and their logo and their stuff on it, whatever. But the only margin is selling volume. They're not selling volume. Nobody's buying GPUs. And you can go to this is kind of an
Yeah.
interesting little task. You go to the Steam. Steam has a thing called the Steam Hardware Survey, and because like 10 million people are running Steam at every time, they track they track what kind of computer that you're using or what kind of graphics card that you're running. And right now, looking at the Steam Hardware Survey, the top card is the 1650. It's got 8% of the market, 6% of the market share. We're currently on the 5000 series AMD cards. The second card, the GTX 1060, which is less powerful than my card. Then you go to the 2060, the 3060, which is somewhat new. Then the 1050, the 3060 Ti. Then you got the 1660 Super, the 1050. There's not even a 4000 series card anywhere on the list.
Hmm.
So it's fascinating to look at. I'll throw a link in the chat to it. It's a cool little hobby, cool little
Yeah.
exercise.
And I'm still working with the 1050.
Yeah, but see, you're still
Yeah.
working with the 1050.
Yeah.
That's the 10th most used video card in the entire country
Yeah.
or in the entire world.
It does what it's supposed to do. I know that if I was
Well,
trying to do anything more, it may not handle it, but for now, it's fine.
it's on the 12th spot, but the
12,
1050
okay.
Ti is 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So it's still they're practically the same, right? So yeah,
It's just
that's weird.
fascinating.
It
And so
is.
think about it like
However,
this
the
though.
3060,
Mhm.
right, is really high there. I'm surprised. The laptop one, the 3060.
This 3060 mobile, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the if you buy any sort of low end
Right.
gaming laptop, that's what it's coming with. And a lot of folks have done that
So it looks
for
like
various
right
reasons.
number 3. Think about the amount of laptop sales, modern
Mhm.
laptop sales that are used for gaming, right? That's why I'm surprised. It's number 3.
So think about this though. You look at this list, Gal. You're the hot new indie developer that you are, and you look at this list. You need to keep this in mind when you're developing your game because if you
Yes, of
develop your
course.
game on the 4070, that's a $1,100 GPU, nobody
Yep.
gonna be able to play it. So it's very much a chicken and the egg scenario here for the developers and the hardware manufacturers and the consumer. They're all kind of in a triangle on this, and somebody will eventually give way, and it will be the consumer. That over time they will upgrade their components, even if they don't need to, when it makes sense to do so. And then the developers will come alongside.
Is there a historical graph of this? a way to track
Yeah, they have a because
changes?
yeah, they have a this is a really I'll post the full link there. Their HW survey, I think you can pull um yeah, you can pull data from all over the place. You just have to there's some filtering and some sorting on it, but they do this it's a constant thing every month, Steam hardware survey. And it's all automated.
Yeah, don't have to worry about that for myself right now, and most people that use the computer don't. Unless you're a gamer and you're on an old card, I don't think you need to do anything. Listen to what Nick is saying.
Just
Until you really
ran
hit a bottleneck. I don't see it
Yeah,
making sense right now.
yeah.
I just ran DX Diag just for fun to see. I'm at 12 with this old card.
Oh, what on the Windows score?
Yeah. No, I mean I just ran a DX Diag just to see what version of DirectX I was running.
Oh, okay. DirectX
And
12.
I'm
Yeah,
running
absolutely.
12. So it's like
Yeah.
Yeah, DirectX, the Windows component, that'll support like very old cards as well. That's not a problem. And
yeah.
DirectX will mitigate, right, whatever specific calls that the game requires, right? If your card doesn't support it, DirectX will know how to drop it and not affect the visuals too much. So the fact that everybody are using properly DirectX, because when it came out, 12, 15 years ago, it was atrocious, right? It
Oh
was,
yeah. Real
yeah,
bad.
No, it was
but now
constant upgrades,
yep,
uh, driver issues, compatibility issues. Yeah, it was horrible.
right.
But this goes back to from the technology standpoint. You see this more in video game consoles than you do on computers. As the technology matures and the developers learn how to manipulate it for the best performance, you can look at an Xbox game that came out in 2000 and Xbox 360 came out in 2005. So you look at a video game that came out in 2005 versus an Xbox 360 game that came out in 2012, and they don't even look like they're not even in the same ballpark, yet they're running on the exact same hardware. The exact same hardware. Literally nothing different. It's super cool.
Nice.
Not sure
Yeah.
how I got onto that diatribe, but
I mean, here's the story about graphics, but I don't know if it has anything to do with GPU. But it says Midjourney announced version 5 for its commercial AI image synthesis service, which
Mm.
can produce photorealistic images at a quality level that some AI art fans are calling creepy and too perfect. Midjourney
Well,
version,
yeah,
huh?
really interesting. I agree. It's I wouldn't go to the creepy, but it's fascinating. Yeah.
It says that it's now available as an alpha test for customers who subscribe to Midjourney service, which is available through Discord. Midjourney version 5 currently feels that's to me like finally getting glasses after ignoring bad eyesight for a little bit too long. That's coming from Julie Whalen, a graphic designer who often shares her Midjourney creations on Twitter. Suddenly you see everything in 4K. It feels weirdly overwhelming, but also amazing. So I
We
don't know.
are we are this close, like literally at least that's the way it feels, to start seeing fully generated video imagery based on prompts, right?
Hmm,
Like you would tell the engine, uh, give me a video of a person walking across the street in blah blah blah, and
it will do it.
you wait 5-10 minutes, and you get that video. And if it's not what you wanted, then you say, okay, but make it da, 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 and it'll make it. and it'll be either photorealistic or animated or uh, creating. So today, one of the in up until today, right? One of the most used techniques in filmmaking is a storyboard, where somebody draws a scene, right, and sets up everything. This is we're this close for that storyboard to no longer be abstract, no longer be handmade. It'll be a director or a crew of artistic directors telling the AI, let's create a storyboard, and they'll have the whole movie laid out before they shoot it. They'll know everything about it, right? And I'm not saying this is going to replace shooting the movie completely, right? Not yet, at least, but it's definitely going to be like a tool for that. So it'll be a tool for that, a tool for marketing. Let's create something. It's rather amazing.
Huh?
Yeah, I've seen these engines. You draw a stick figure, right? Something that most people uh, 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 can achieve, right? Just drawing a stick
Well,
figure in a certain pose.
you know,
No, I mean,
some people. I'm an
yeah,
awful artist.
but you take the ability to draw a human being, right?
Mhm.
And you change
Yeah.
it as, okay, let's draw just a stick figure and tell the AI, make a human being in that pose, right? You take the friction level of the need for specific skills, right? You drop it down substantially. Now, suddenly, anybody who can draw stick figures can, can be in marketing, can be in design, right? Because the AI augments their ability to express themselves in such a way that, okay, so they don't know how to draw a perfect eye or the face or a hand, which AI, by the way, has real trouble with. So and suddenly you have a tool that does it for you. So yeah, it's eerie and amazing at the same time.
Yeah. Um,
Speaking of, you said something in there, Amnon, that reminded me of this story. You said something about putting on glasses for the first
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Did you know that Google Glass was still in production
No,
and they stopped it this week?
they stopped it. Yeah,
Yeah, I had no idea that they were still active. I hadn't
yeah.
heard anything about Google Glass since like what, 2014?
Who was
I
buying
mean,
them?
like way long.
The question is who was buying them?
No, but
I
I
don't
don't think
know.
anybody, I didn't know anybody knew that they existed. I mean, I feel like I remember at the time. I mean, we were discussing this on the show when it first came out back then. And since we discussed it, you had a couple of those guys that jumped on it. But boy, they said this is a cost cutting measure. I'm curious how much they were spending on.
I don't know. The story goes Google has announced last week that it will no longer be selling its Glass Enterprise Edition 2 headsets with support set.
Enterprise.
What?
Enterprise.
Yeah.
So they were selling it to organizations. Interesting.
With support set to be discontinued later this year.
That's how you can tell nobody was buying when you're when you're axing support 3 months after you stop selling it, there nobody's using it.
After the commercial failure of its original Google Glass headsets, the company segged the AR product into a solution for business and industrial customers intended to allow workers to stay connected in a hands free way. This lineup, dubbed Glass Enterprise Edition, received the second generation update in 2019, which was built on the Snapdragon XR1 hardware platform. But
Huh.
I guess they tried and they tried to give it some kind of resuscitation, but it didn't work.
2019 they did it. I don't remember anything about that.
Yeah.
That's wild. Hmm.
Yeah.
That was that was very much ahead of its time. That I think when you look back on this 10 years from now, um, they were just way too ahead of what the industry was looking for at the time. This is 2012, the Google Glass came out.
Yeah, it's way ahead of its time. I
Yeah.
remember how everybody was, "Hey, look, I've got Google Glass." And, yeah, and what do you do with it? Well, here I can see this.
I can look at the clock, the
Yeah,
time, Amnon. I
yeah,
can see clearly.
yeah.
It was cool when it came out. I mean, I remember. Don't
It
you remember
was.
back then on we were on all the Google Hangouts. There were a couple of the Google
Yep,
Hangouts guys that had
yep,
Google Glass, and it was
yep.
cool to look at.
Steve used it. Remember?
Did Steve have Google Glass? I
Yeah,
don't remember.
yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah.
All right. Um, as business grapple with how artificial intelligence looks like ChatGPT will affect working practices, the Japanese fintech firm is making it compulsory for new recruits to use the technology and even testing them on it, with concerns growing about its ability to make jobs obsolete and data protection. Tokyo-based Layer X is bucking the trend with a recent job ad for new graduates, making it mandatory for recruits to be tested on their use of the chatbot made by OpenAI, and another called Notion AI, the startup which focuses on promoting digitizing business transaction, is confident it's on the right side of a growing divide over the use of the technology. To require new hires to know ChatGPT, I mean, look at what level did it get to in such a short time. And I can understand it. You want to stay ahead of the game, or you want to stay with the game, you're going to have to deploy it and use it and be able to take advantage of it. And
Drastic times calls for drastic measures.
yeah, absolutely. And the other story about it is General Motors is exploring uses for ChatGPT as part of its broader collaboration with Microsoft. ChatGPT is going to be in everything, GM Vice President Scott Miller said in an interview.
That
That,
hold on.
yeah.
ChatGPT is not going to be in everything. GPT is going to be in everything.
Well,
ChatGPT is just an implementation.
yeah, but I mean,
right?
that's how people know it. So that's why they use the word.
That's what kills me.
Yeah.
It's like we're already misunderstanding it. It hasn't even started, and we're already misunderstanding it.
Hold on a second, Gal. Are you trying to sit here on this very program in which you and I have been on for years together and indicate to me that the head of GM doesn't have any freaking idea what a
Well,
GPT
I don't know about
is
the
or
head
a
of
chat
GM.
AI? How dare you, sir?
Their
How dare you.
marketing definitely doesn't understand it. I don't know about the head of GM. I
No,
would
no,
actually think that the head of GM spot on understands it, right?
No, he gave the quote.
I'm not. I'm not sure who's quoting who. I know how I'm. So, in the company I work for right now, Polaris, right? We're working on some marketing material, and we're actively looking at it because we have different people looking at it, and I see the process. Just sending out a quote is a process. It's not just this is the quote, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, but Guy, remember, this is like saying every front desk should have Kleenex on the bench there. Well, that's not saying that you have to buy the Kleenex brand. It means they want to have tissues everywhere. It just that's what it becomes. It's ChatGPT. You tell people today.
Yeah.
I'll bet you today you say GPT and people say, "What is that?" Well, you know, ChatGPT. Okay, yeah, it becomes.
you're right.
It's the hip thing to do.
Yeah. But anyway, so it says the chatbot could be used to access information on how to use vehicle features normally found in an owner's manual. I
Oh,
would love
yes.
that. Program functions such as a garage door code or integrate schedules from a calendar. This shift is not just about one single ability like the evolution of voice commands, but instead means that customers can expect their future vehicles to be far more capable and fresh overall when it comes to emergent technology.
I am I
I
am
mean,
seeing I am already seeing the bugs and the problems, and I
oh
am
well, I mean, of course,
enjoying the movie in my head.
yeah, we're gonna have a few
But
years
think about
of
this,
weird,
right? Right. They're saying, okay, we're gonna basically let the GPT engine, right, ingest our manuals
right,
and and allow the AI to provide the assistance to people,
right,
which I mean, fantastic. I, I love the idea. But now I'm thinking, okay, uh, how do you make it so it is precise to the model? I mean, even if you open a manual today, right,
yeah, that
it'll
says,
tell you this manual is for these and
yeah,
these and these models, and in this model you might have this one, and in this
yeah,
model you might have that
correct,
one, and in this model you might have that, right?
correct, yeah,
It would
So
certainly be a help after dealing with Volkswagen's manuals. It's unbelievable. They must be translated from German to 4 of the languages before they make it to English.
could be.
You go to, it says, okay, to look up how to change this light bulb, go to section 523. You go to 523, and it has one paragraph that says, for more information about light bulbs, go to section 422. And you go there, and it says, oh, go look at the appendix, and it literally takes you to like, and that's how it's organized. And then when you find an explanation, it is a 100-word explanation of something that explained in one paragraph. It would be very helpful.
yeah,
They need to build that in a car. Like, how do I adjust the radio volume and actually tell you how to do
Right, but
yeah,
my concern is you'll ask it and it'll give you an answer, but
it?
you're asking it about a Ford or a Volkswagen, and it'll give you about a Toyota from 5 years ago, right? That's my concern.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
if
Uh,
And
they
then, like
act,
the Bing robot, it'll insult you for not understanding.
Before you can learn how to turn the radio up, you need to learn the difference between amplitude modulation and frequency
that's
modulation.
right.
So, but that's
Oh,
prerequisite to knowing how to turn the volume up.
forget mansplaining. We're gonna get botsplaining.
Oh, that's already happened. Speaking of bot splaining,
let's play.
this is not even AI related. I was playing darts with my buddy last night. We were using an app on my phone. We played against the dart bot. So we were fighting against this bot, and it absolutely kicked our ass. So this is going to become a real problem. This is a modern. There's a meme that modern problems need modern solutions. This is what we're approaching. This is going to be very
Everybody should
detrimental.
start watching Star Trek's Next Generation now. All of the data centric episodes.
Yeah.
Ah,
And you know, again, talking about AI. According to Platformer, Microsoft recent layoffs included its entire ethics and society team within the artificial intelligence organization.
Ouch.
ooh,
They let
that's
all of
bad.
them go. The
Let
move
me let
leaves
me
my
guess.
huh?
They asked the AI who should they fire.
It says, yeah, let them go. I want to do what I want to do.
That's where you have to make friends with the AI. You
Oh,
say,
that's a
hey,
phenomenal idea.
you and I, we're really good friends. Would you like to play chess with me today? And just go through this whole thing. And then when they go to shoot, oh, wait a second. I don't want to lose my chess buddy.
Hey AI, do you have plans Tuesday night? Like to take you out for dinner, maybe?
It used to be
You keep it on my good
the
side.
most yeah, it used to be the most important person in the company to befriend was the janitor. Then it was the IT guy, right? Now it's going to be the AI.
Yeah.
So it says
There'll be a room. There'll
that
be there'll be a huge room where you'll go out and there'll be just it'll be like the Apple Macintosh commercial. There'll just be a huge screen of the AI and people will be meditating and lighting candles and bowing down so that the AI doesn't fire them. That's exactly what we're approaching, guys. We're danger, danger.
Oh man.
Read all about it.
So we
so
joke, but this
No,
is
we don't joke.
this
That's a
is no
problem.
joking matter. Yeah.
it's coming. Yeah. The move leaves Microsoft without a dedicated team to ensure its AI principles are closely tied to product design at a time when the company is leading the charge to make AI tools available to the mainstream. Current and former employees
I
said.
mean, to to be fair, Amnon,
Yeah,
right? That team wasn't effective,
probably
right?
not.
If you think about no, if you think about the rollout of the Bing AI, right?
Yeah.
That team
Oh, yeah,
failed,
that's right. Yeah.
right? So I'm guessing that firing them is not about firing them as much as replacing them. But
Very, very, very
yeah,
possible. Yeah. But yeah, there's going to be, I mean, one of the main thing that manufacturers have to do, developers, is social uh and what they call it, uh,
conditioning.
principles. I mean, you have to have. You can't expect Microsoft to have principles, but I don't know. It
So yeah,
can.
so now you're gonna have conservative bots. You're gonna
Absolutely.
have liberal bots. You're gonna have Chinese bots. You're gonna have Russian bots.
How are you going to
Yeah,
recognize them? Never mind.
you'll
Don't
start
answer. Don't
recognizing them
answer.
by the way they treat you. Oh, oh yeah, that's the German AI. I know that. Yeah. Oh, that's the Italian one.
And then we're going to have the AIs talk with each other and decide what
Yeah,
they're going to do with us. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
You remember a couple of years ago, there was a show, I think it was on Fox, called Battle Bots. And it was a bunch of like
Oh yeah,
high
that's
school
like 10
kids
years
building
ago.
robots and attacking people
Oh,
with
Fantastic.
drones that kill each other.
it got really sophisticated.
That's exactly what we're
Yeah,
approaching. We'll
yeah.
have the AI battle bots on
You
HBO
mean
Max or
no, no, you mean that the bots are gonna control human in the ring.
oh god, that's very frightening.
I just went in the last couple of minutes and put in 2 requests to chat GPT, and it first one was write a short story about living off the grid in Alaska.
Oh,
And it came up with a story about Sarah, who always wanted to live in the wilderness and decided to go off the grid. And she was in a terrible storm, but it worked out okay. And she came out of it feeling really good. And the second one was I said, write a review of an Alaskan cruise. That took a while. The first one started instantly. The second one took a whole 45 seconds for it to actually start to write it. But it came up with a great 5-paragraph reason why you should take a cruise to Alaska.
Is this
Accurate.
is this uh GPT 3 or 4? Probably
Well, I just
3.
went and logged into
The
whatever
moment
one.
you use OpenAI, you're using whatever they offer the
Yeah.
public.
Didn't they
I think it's
announce
3.5.
they announced something new this past week, didn't they?
They announced
The
4,
next
but I don't
generation?
think it's available yet.
But I mean, yeah, but it was something and the name there was a little name change too to something. I don't remember exactly. But where was this when I was in college? When I had to write a paper on a history paper on King Tut. Oh,
Yeah, I think that's actually going this is probably one of the reasons that those type of tasks are definitely going to change, right? Just because it's not as effective get if you can do a Google search, if you could have done right a Google search to find the answer quickly, and now it also summarized it for you in a unique way, sort of, right? Uh, then that type of task doesn't mean a lot. So
what I could see them doing
training will
is
change.
professors around the university scene will come up with some fake details that they will seed into the system. So when somebody, if you pick up, oh, write something about Plato. Oh, there's a fact about Plato that they feed that's wrong. So they know it's like a way to detect that it was written by AI. They do that now with intelligence, right? They put fake intelligence or a story that's a little off to find out who leaked it. And they give it 10 different people they suspect of leaking. Each one gets a slightly different detail. And they know that's how they can tell who
Well,
after
sometimes, but even doing that is hard because you need to keep everyone off
compartmentalized.
guard,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The thing is, with an AI, the feedback is almost immediate for it. So very fast, it'll find out when something is too unique to be picked up on, right? So yeah,
Well,
it's not going to be easy, but interestingly enough, right? OpenAI do provide an engine to detect AI generated answers. So there's some pattern to the way the answers are composed that can be detected, at least for now, right?
think
It's
about
probably
all the
going to change as
poor
well.
uh, people that go to college who make money writing papers for people.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, it's already an industry, so to
yeah.
speak. Yeah.
That industry is definitely going to grow,
So,
and that means academia will need to change,
yep.
right? For it
You
to
might
stay
actually get
effective and
you might
relevant.
actually get tested on something in a reasonable way to actually confirm your knowledge.
Here's the thing, though, and you know, I went. I mean, I went to college in 2015, 2016, whatever it was. So, like this, Wolfram Alpha and uh, all these websites providing you answers and details were already well
Right.
available. And here's the reality of it: if you are a young adult at that point, or late teenager going through college, and you skirt your entire way through college with Chat GPT, great, you'll get your degree, but damn, you're going to be unemployable. I mean, that's the reality of it, is you're not going to be able to go into industry and get away with it. So there's going to be a whole bunch of employers that are going to be even more stringent on young folks like myself and hiring them straight out of college, because they're going to think, oh, they might not know diddly squat. All they did was pump all their work into an AI bot, and they
Mhm.
got all their results back.
They're already
Right.
That's a
But I
problem.
think
having issues with companies having to provide remedial reading and other things to people coming out of college. They don't know how to write.
yeah, not being able to write. Also, that GPT, the GPT engine is definitely going to help there because it can provide frameworks and templates and bases that can then be modified, and that's usually a lot easier than coming up with something completely new. But I think these places are going to hire people who are a lot more proficient in conversing with an AI and getting an AI to get the results they want, rather than those who are completely oblivious of AIs and do not know how to use that. So,
Yeah.
who, yeah,
It'll be
whoever, right? If you know how to search in Google, right, you can have a job versus someone who, whenever they go try and search in Google, they can't find what they want, right?
and let's
So
let's
this is the
hope
same
people
thing.
adapt to retention so that the stuff that they learn from their search they remember.
Exactly.
So personally, I remember a lot. I mean, I go and I search on something and I read and I can it's what it's the way my brain is wired. So I can actually remember stuff. Whereas,
So I remember a lot that has to do with processes. For example, syntax, unless I did it tons of time, I don't remember the syntax. I don't
Yeah.
remember the port number. I do remember how to search for it, though. I do remember that I can get to it in less than 5 seconds, right? So uh, it's the same thing, right? It's an accelerator. Accelerator to what? If you're accelerating toward a wall, yes, you're going to drop, right? But if you know how to use this and get to where you want to get faster, then it's a fantastic tool. And that those are the people who are going to succeed. Those who can get this and navigate through using it, right? And making it effective. And it's getting easier and more people will be able to do it. But I think those who there'll be like a very, very narrow band of people who will know how to do it and make much more out of it. That's like,
I have an interesting sideline for this, is to create versions of specific document requirements like Mad Libs. Guys, remember Mad Libs?
Of course.
Where you would get you get a sheet and you'd fill in, oh, so and so went to, and it says put in a location. And he took his friend, put in a name. And so you have a legal brief. Give me a legal brief about intellectual capital or intellectual property that I need. And it just tells you to fill in the blanks, and there you have it. Put the names in. Yeah. I'm
I'll be
glad I'm
damned.
not in the business world with this stuff, to be honest.
Hey, Nick,
Hey, Amnon.
I just went to post. I forgot to post about the show in Twitch,
Mhm.
and I just went in and it says log into Twitch. I clicked on login, and I did, and it says your browser is not currently supported. Chrome, is that possible?
How old of a
oh,
version of Chrome?
It always updates.
Oh, then it might just be a bug on their end, probably. I mean, it'll still
Man,
let you log in. It just is warning you that features might not work.
hmm. Anyway, all right. Are you ready for specials?
What's a special?
What's a special?
Yes, I'm ready for it.
Anything that's out of the ordinary.
Always ready for specials, unless I'm not here.
Ta-da!
All right, this is a great meme format that I really appreciate. So, this is from an episode of SpongeBob, and we're having a conversation here between Skype and Windows Explorer. And it starts off with the X makes an app close. Skype agrees to that, and you are an app. Skype goes, yes, I agree. I am an app. So if I click the X button, you should close like all of the other apps. So Skype goes, yeah, that's how Windows works. And then the user clicks the X on Skype, and Skype doesn't close. It just continues to stay there. So I thought that was a funny one here this morning. There's a couple programs like that. What a disaster it is to get rid of Skype. Um, so that's to get us kicked off here this morning. Got a pretty cool mix of things all over the boundaries here this morning for specials. Let's get it started off with a limited supply available of this product. This thing is a beast of a freaking machine. This is a Lenovo 16-inch. This is a big boy computer with a full numpad on it. But boy, is this thing a beast. It's rocking a 2.3 gigahertz i7 14 physical core processor, 12th generation. It's got 16 gigabytes of DDR5 memory, a 1 terabyte M.2. It's running Intel Arc, so not Intel HD off of the CPU, but a discrete graphics card. Intel Arc, the A370M, which has got 4 gigabytes of DDR6 memory. It supports a 2560 by 1600 IPS touchscreen. This thing has got it all. This would be a phenomenal replacement for a desktop that you would dock a majority of the time, but every once in a while would like to take it with you. It's pretty big for to lug around, but would make a great desktop replacement. This thing is normally $1,300, and it's on sale for just $799. So you're saving $500 right off the top of this thing.
And it looks like it even has Ethernet port.
I don't believe it has an Ethernet port, but in terms of the ports on the side of it, it's got, as you would expect, a USB-C for charging at this price point. Actually, excuse me, it does not have a USB-C for charging. It's got one of their own little charging adapters, which I believe you can convert to USB-C. Something weird about that. It does have a USB-C port. It's got a full-size HDMI and a couple of USB Type A ports
Oh.
on it. So if you're you're an all USB-C person, be aware of that. But this is a pretty powerhouse machine, available for 800 bucks isn't nothing to bat your eyes at, but it's still a very, very powerful machine. So be advised of that.
What did
And
you
that
say
is
was the graphic?
Intel Arc, which is
Okay,
their
all right. All right.
AMD
Yeah.
or their AMD or NVIDIA equivalent to a discrete
Yeah.
GPU, available for $7.99 at B&H Photo. Um, Limited supply. So if you're on the fence, act on it now. Next up, for all of you lovely Costco members, today is the last day to get this thing ordered. So hurry up on it. This is a Hisense, which is a cheaper television brand, but very, very suitable. This is a 65-inch 4K UHD LCD television support. It's got 4 HDMI ports on it, so plenty of connectivity. It comes with Google TV, which I know a lot of folks like Google TV instead of Fire Stick or Roku. So it's got that built into it, which is nice. It's a 4K 65-inch television for 600 bucks. You're saving about $200 on it, available over at Costco. It does have Visa mounts on it, so you can put it on your wall. And again, 4 HDMI's, so you can connect plenty of your devices to it as well. And it has speaker connections and all of that stuff. So you can purchase our next product, which takes us over to um, buydig.com, which is a very reputable. Amnon, I'm sure you've bought stuff from them in the day, right?
All right. Doesn't ring a bell.
They've
I
been
have.
around for they've been around forever, selling.
I bought stuff from them.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they're not as prolific anymore, but back in the '90s and early 2000s, they were pretty popular. They've got a really, really great deal here on a Samsung soundbar. Now you have to use the promo code that's available inside the Sweet Deals article, so or Slick Deals article. So make sure you put that in. This is a Samsung 3.1.2 channel soundbar. So this is not multiple speakers. It's the soundbar that's got a 3x2 in it, and then it's got a discrete subwoofer. So it's just two devices, 3 channels, one subwoofer, and two upfiring channels from the soundbar. This thing is normally $600. It's brand new, and it's on sale for just 159 bucks. This is a hell of a deal on a soundbar system. You can easily spend 150 plus dollars on a simple 2 channel soundbar. It supports Dolby Atmos, which is really cool. So you can get some of the highest quality stuff you want on there without having to string speakers and have all that stuff floated around your living room. So if you're in the market for a high-end soundbar, which is what this is, check it out. It's available over at buydig.com. It's been a while since we've had just a standard computer monitor in the mix here, but Dell's got a gaming monitor on sale. This is their G2722H, phenomenal model number there. This is a 27-inch, 165 hertz gaming monitor. Now it's 27 inches, it's 16:9, so the aspect ratio is 1080p. It's not 1440 or anything higher. So traditional 1080p monitor. It supports AMD FreeSync and NVIDIA G-Sync. In terms of connectivity on it, it's got two HDMI 2.1 ports or 3.1 ports and a DisplayPort jack on it as well. So it's you can connect stuff at high refresh rate via that. It's normally available for about 280 bucks, and it's on sale for a buck 50 over at Amazon. You can check that out. This is Amazon's choice in computer monitors by Dell. So out of all of the monitors that Dell makes, this is the one that people are buying. It's got 4.7 stars out of 5. So a lot of good reviews, and you'd expect that from Dell. They don't typically make a whole bunch of garbage. So that's available over at Amazon. Gal, have you ever heard of this product, the Philips Hue
Yep.
Play HDMI?
Yeah, I've heard about them.
Can you
Very expensive stuff.
you know
Cool
what
as
it you,
hell.
you know what it does?
Yeah. You hook it
Explain
up
it.
to an HDMI. Uh, I think HDMI passes through it, and what it
Yep.
does, it synchronizes the audio and the video and produces basically a light show depending on the light fixtures you have associated with it. So it can be really cool, augmenting the viewing experience at home of a TV.
So it's neat. It's got
Yeah.
4 HDMI inputs on it, so you can connect up to 4 devices on it, and then it's got 1 output, and it does exactly what Kyle mentioned. This thing is expensive. It's $250.
Yeah.
So this is not a cheap piece of hardware. This is factory reconditioned over at Woot, which is Amazon's like kind of wholesale arm. So you're going to get something that isn't new, but is, $80 off, a pretty good deal on it. So if you're in the Hue ecosystem and really want to take your TV watching experience or your gaming experience or your movie watching experience to the next level, this is maybe a way to do it. It's $168
Or
over
if you want
at
to produce a
Woot.
light show.
Yes. But it's noted with this, or I'll note with this, that this really only makes sense if you're fully engulfed in the Hue ecosystem.
Yeah.
If not,
Yeah.
there are other devices that are like this that will control RGB lights. Like you can put a light bar around your TV. This will be fully implemented, and you can control your lights, your neighbor's lights, anybody's lights with this this Philips Hue box.
Yeah.
There are
Available
some
at Amazon.
cheaper manufacturers that make LED light strips that are sound sensitive.
Sound sensitive, and some even
Yeah,
now,
they
if
work
you
pretty well,
noticed,
yeah.
they have ones where there's literally a camera, like a camera that points down at your television screen that will watch the screen and adjust the colors based on that. And those are like 60 or $80.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
but they're
remember we
not
were looking at
wireless.
these.
Yeah, they're interesting. Obviously, people are buying because there's a whole bunch of people making them. So, and obviously, the fact that these are factory reconditioned, somebody had to buy it and then send it back or do something with it. So check that out over at Woot. Here is another Woot item. This one is manufacturer certified refurbished to look new and perform like new. So this is going to be like you're opening it for the first time, but it's not new out of the factory. So it'll have all the documentation. It'll still have the little peels wrap that is over everything. This is the most basic of basic doorbells. This is the Blink video doorbell. If you're in the Blink ecosystem, this is wired or wired free, so it'll support both. And it connects with the Blink app, which is owned by Amazon. This is normally about $35-$40, and you can get it on sale for $26. So save a few bucks on it. Available over at Woot, again, an Amazon subsidiary. We have talked about Plex probably more than any other system or software or anything on this show over the last couple of years. And we talk about Plex Pass a lot. And this is a lifetime subscription to Plex Pass, which normally runs you about $120 a year. And they've got it on sale for the next couple of days for $96. So there's a promo code, which is Lucky Day 23, obviously in reference there to St. Patrick's Day. And you can get Plex Pass for just $96 available over at Plex's website. Somehow I forgot to include the link for this Seagate drive. I'll throw the link in chat for it. This is a 8 terabyte brand new Seagate Exynos drive. The model number is the 7E10. 8 terabytes for $115. Its normal MSRP is about $270. So you're getting quite the deal on this. Gal, this to me seems like a pretty good price to performance ratio on the Seagate drive. These are their enterprise drives, the Exynos drives. So 8 terabytes for $115 is a pretty good deal, I think.
Looks good, yeah.
As long as
So
it's not just the flash drive inside.
No, this is not this is not from AliExpress. A 20 terabyte drive for $18. I'll throw the link in chat for this. It's available at Newegg, so I don't know how I forgot to hyperlink it. It's available over there. The Steam Deck. We talked about that in the recent months. It came out a little over a year ago now, and it's really kind of revolutionized in some regards the handheld gaming industry. It's their birthday. They've been out about a year, and starting this Thursday, The Steam Deck is going to be on sale. Excuse me, through next Thursday. The Steam Deck is on sale. It's 10% off. It's not the most amazing deal in the world, but it's the only time this thing has been on sale, and it's likely to be until the next generation comes out, the best deal that you're going to get on one of these things brand new. So the basic Steam Deck, which is a 64 gigabyte model that supports a SD card or micro SD card for storage, is normally $399. So you can get it for $359.10. So saving about 40 bucks on it, available over at Steam's website. The mid-tier version, which is 256 gigs of storage, is on sale for 476, and the high-end version, which is a 512 gigabyte NVMe, which comes with carrying case and some other things, is on sale for $584. It is the sale price on that as well. So if you have been in the market for a Steam Deck, probably not going to find any better deal than this on one new, available directly from Steam's website. To go along with your new Steam Deck, how about a gaming headset? Here's the HyperX Cloud Core. This is a wired headset that is compatible with any device that supports a 3.5 millimeter combo jack. So from your smartphone or tablet to your Nintendo Switch, Steam Deck, Xbox, PlayStation, desktop, laptop, it'll literally work on anything. It's normally a $70 headset. You're saving $40 on it, available over at Best Buy. HyperX makes really, really good quality gaming stuff. So if you're in the market for it, check it out, available at Best Buy. Next up, the Epson Workforce. I don't include a lot of all-in-one printers typically because they're very expensive to operate, but I thought this was a pretty good deal on one. And Epson does make some pretty high-quality stuff. The Workforce 2930. It's a full multi-function, so it'll do everything besides faxing. That's kind of out of the lexicon at this point, but it'll do copies and scanning. It's got a document feeder in it as well. And it's available for 60 bucks. It's normally $109. So you're saving $50 on it. And this deal's good actually to the end of the month.
But
So
it's
you
an
can do this either.
inkjet, right?
It is an inkjet. Yeah, it's not a laser. But sometimes, some people can't justify $300 for a laser
Yeah.
color. So if you're not going to be printing all that often, or the color documents that you're printing are not all that often, you might be okay with one of these. And if you're going to buy something, I think Epson's probably one of the better inkjet brands to buy. So this is available over at Office Max and Office Depot. There's only 22 in stock online, and it's limited a quantity in stores. So act quick if you're interested in this. All right, Amnon, I need you to open up your checkbook here this morning. I've got some high dollar items I'd like to purchase to review for the show. Who doesn't need you could go to Starbucks and deal with some miserable college kid that's going to screw up your coffee order for $9, or you can spend $900 on a touch espresso machine. Get a barista in your house. This thing is equipped with Chat GPT. And it'll immediately know what to make. This is normally an $1,100 espresso machine. It's a pretty good deal on sale. $880. It's available at Best Buy, Amazon, and a couple of other retailers. According to the Slick Deal reviews, this thing is pretty, like, if you're buying a home espresso maker, this is the creme de la creme of espresso makers. So, if you're in this sphere, it's got dual boilers on it. I mean, this thing is all in terms of an espresso machine. $880. Check it out. Available at a couple of different retailers. And then finally, as we approach the summer season, no better time to get yourself a full fish finder. And that's exactly what this thing is. It's got a navigation built into it as well. This is the Garmin Echo Map UHD 93SV. This is a full fish finder navigator. This is the full thing for your boating pleasure. You can update it with, got updated maps. It'll connect to your phone for information, so you can save information back and forth from the device. This is normally a over $1,000 device, $1,200 normally. It's on sale for $774. And I put it in there as kind of a joke, but this thing's got 400 reviews on Amazon and it's got a 4.7 stars. So people are buying this thing because it's obviously a good map, a good device. Garmin's been in the game a long time. So if you're looking to upgrade your boating technology, maybe not a bad idea to start with the Garmin. That's available over at Amazon. And that is old special Ronies for this March the 19th, 2020.
There's no disclaimer, say boat not included.
You know, you're right. You're right. I mean, I can't really clap back against that.
I think
if you've got me, you've got me. You got me on that.
I think most of the fish everywhere already installed jammers. So I don't know.
It's amazing how the fish finder technology has essentially been the same thing for like 40 years. There really hasn't been, obviously the transceiver and the transceiver is a lot better. It's smaller. It's a little bit more accurate, but the technology is essentially exactly the same. You fire a blast of radar down and you wait for things to pop back up. And that's the indication of what's below you. It really is like Cold War, even World War II era radio receiving sets a transmission and receiving technology for a fish finder. It's pretty amazing.
But linked with GPS and with the new graphics and all this stuff, it's incredible. I had a really cheap one, like $100, $150 one that showed me the size of the fish.
Yeah.
And contours of the bottom. And it was, you could set it up so that it would project. So it wasn't just what was below the boat. It would actually anticipate what was in front of it as you went over it. It was really good. Absolutely essential if you're in lakes because of the crap that's in lakes. So.
Yeah. I've been out fishing with a buddy of mine a couple of times, and we go out into the Atlantic and we're fishing like king mackerel or whatever. And these things are essential. So
yes,
yeah,
and
pretty interesting mix.
Yeah,
of stuff for specials. So there you go.
Nice, thank you, sir.
Yep. I'll throw the that drive link in the chat.
Vince, this article reminded me of when you were still working Northern. The thousands of layoffs at big tech are thanks to an overhiring spree to satisfy the vanity of bosses at the likes of Meta and Alphabet, according to a member of the so-called PayPal mafia. Speaking remotely at an event hosted by banking firm Evercore, Silicon Valley VC Keith Rabois said Meta and Google had hired thousands of people to do fake work to hit hiring metrics out of vanity. He was also an executive at PayPal in the early 2000s alongside Tesla's Elon Musk, and said the axing of droves of jobs is overdue. All these people were extraneous. This has been true for a long time. The vanity metric of hiring employees was this false god in some ways. There's nothing for these people to do. It's all fake work. Now that's been exposed. Now that that's been exposed, what do these people actually do? They go to meetings. I don't know how, this is one person's opinion, but it sounds, I mean, what? CEOs don't have any checks and balances overlooking, HR, other people, board that says, hey, we don't need all these people.
The mentality is that you build your empire. It doesn't matter if your people are doing anything. It's how many people you have under you. And there's a, unfortunately, here's your budget for the year for 100 people. But if you hire 80 people, you fall short. So you will hire anybody to make it to 100, because if you don't use those people, next year you lose them. It's that mentality. That's the mentality. It's sick. It's crazy. What's
This
this other
is
people's money?
really this is crazy.
Yep.
So
I've
you were
seen it.
asking about
I had to live
checks.
through it.
You what?
You were asking about checks and balances.
Yeah.
I mean, the way it works, especially when a company grows, right, is you need the only way a successful company works is if the trust you have in the people that you work directly with,
Mhm.
right, is uh, is rooted in reality. And in companies that grow really, really, really fast, the disconnect between the people at the top and the people below, right, is huge. It grows really, really fast. So in no time, either you put in the right, uh, uh, solidified the right people at the important spots, or you don't know that they messed up until it crashes in your face. So
Oh,
the fact that large companies actually function is always like it always amazes me, right? Because yeah, you put enough abuse inside that system that is unchecked, and it'll fester, it'll grow. So
that's amazing.
yeah.
Just hire people and they've got nothing to
But
do.
you always need to hire the right people, and and lay off people quickly if they do not,
Perform.
they're not meshing with the company, right? Otherwise you're losing battle.
All right. Um, those of you with YouTube TV, YouTube has announced that it's raising the price of its YouTube TV subscription to $72.99 per month. The new monthly price is an $8 increase from the current $64.99. New members will see the new price starting last week, while existing members will see the price change starting on April 18th. The Google owned company blames the rise in content cost for the change. To soften the blow, the company announced that it's lowering the price of its 4K Plus add on from $19.99 per month to $9.99 per month. As content costs have risen and we continue to invest in our quality of service, we'll be adjusting our monthly cost. After 3 years, from 64 to 72, in order to bring you the best possible TV service. So they are right there with cable now.
Yeah, that was what I was about to ask. How much does a cable
Yeah, it's I
subscription
mean,
cost today
uh,
before internet?
Time Warner is advertising it now for 49.95, whatever, for 2 years.
Yeah, for the first couple of years or
Yeah,
for first year or something. Yeah.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I have no idea what it is now. Anybody in the chat knows?
We on this show predicted this a couple years ago that it would eventually uh, equal and then exceed the cost of cable.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize, do that. What's the service that actually will check all your subscriptions for you? Not sure if it's free, but I know there's an app you can get for your phone that will go out and look for all your subscriptions and tell you what you may not be aware of, things that you are spending money on.
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah, that's a bunch.
I know people who love YouTube TV, but I don't know for how much longer.
There was another thing about streaming stuff. Yeah, we'll get. I'll And we talked about it before. So finally, Meta, Facebook, on Friday launched its subscription service in the US, which would allow Facebook and Instagram users pay for verification in the same vein as Elon Musk on Twitter. The Meta verified service will give users a blue badge after they verify their account using a government ID and will cost $11.99 per month on the web or $14.99 a month on Apple's iOS system. So if you go to, to
That's
the
actually
App
good.
Store, it's
I like it. No, I like it that they put it out front, right? How
yeah.
much Apple is taking off of them. So you will not do the mistake, right? And pay through Apple. That's a
Huh?
good
Um, the service, which Meta said it was testing in February, follows in the footsteps of Snapchat as well as messaging app Telegram, and marks the latest effort by a social media company to diversify its revenue away from advertising.
yeah.
I wonder how many people are going to pay it. It's 12
I
bucks a
wonder
month.
why this wasn't the first step. Why ads were the first step? That's what I really wonder. Like it makes so much more sense than going the ad way. Now I don't want to pay them. Back then, if they would have offered, I would have thought of it. And the
You would have
reason I'm saying that,
thought of it is one thing. Would you have done it?
what I mean by thought of it is I would be still using that platform. It still would provide some value to me. And the fact that I could solidify, basically secure, right, my identity on it. Nobody else can, uh, especially if what you do is you interconnect with people and friends, right?
Yeah.
And think about it. You look at it as also interconnecting with systems like WhatsApp and stuff like that. And in Israel, right, WhatsApp is used for business transaction, like for tech support for anything,
Mhm.
customer support for anything, right? So you link that with your identity. The all of the back and forth of this is who I'm claiming to be while I'm discussing you and conversing with you and all that, it could take that pain away, right? And suddenly they could be these brokers of identity. Now after nobody really likes to trust them anymore, now you're asking me to verify my identity? That's way too late into the game. So, I mean, whoever uses those platforms still and it interests them, yeah, go for it. Doesn't sound cheap, right?
No, it's not.
So, yeah.
Well, guys, I got to run. I got to head out for my
All right.
monster truck rally.
Enjoy.
So, thanks. Have a good rest of your week and rest of your day.
Make
And
sure
I
you're
ordered that.
parking your car in the right place, that it's not crashed after that.
Well, my son is driving and he's got VIP pass, so we'll be getting good parking space. We'll have
Awesome.
the barriers will be up so trucks don't drive over us. So, all right, guys.
See you next
thanks.
week, Spence.
I ordered the hard drive, by the way.
Oh, great.
We'll see. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank God I
Take
get
care.
100% commission on everything
That's
I
right,
sell on
100%.
specials. God, that reminds me.
Go ahead.
Gal, I've created such a mess here with my home system. I got this piecemeal Proxmox server to put together. I'm out of storage. It's in this stupid slim case, and there's no space for anything. I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and build a new machine, I think. Or excuse me, not build a new machine, piece together a new machine parts. It's such a pain.
You can take the hard drive out and put another one.
I can, but it's because it's running Proxmox, everything, it's not just one operating system.
Right.
It's everything inside of it. I've got 2 other data drives already in there, so to
Oh,
it's just a I've maybe this summer I'll have some time. I don't know.
oh,
Storage is such a pain.
it can be, it shouldn't be.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when and what, problem is you build something under the impression you're gonna use it for, task A, and then it ends up doing C, D, E, F, and G also. You
Yeah,
didn't plan for that at the
that's on you, right?
Thanks, Am.
Can't you just stick
Jesus.
a USB drive on it?
Yeah, you know what? Let me go to AliExpress and buy an 18 terabyte USB 2.0 flash drive for 11
4
cents, and
4
I'll
of
just
4
throw it in.
4 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just have a USB
yeah.
dongle. Now, my biggest problem with it is it's a decommissioned um, Dell business machine. So it's slim. It's the one
Yeah.
where when you open up, the side door hinges off, and it's got a plastic shroud for airflow. It's one of those slimmer cases, so I can't just pop in an infinite number of hard drives.
And you
I
can't
gotta
put it
figure something.
anywhere where there's a lot of you can't put the noisy machine, right?
Noise doesn't matter. It's in a closet behind me. I mean, everything makes noise.
Well,
I mean,
talk
I
to
don't
me.
want a server,
Yeah,
but
talk to me. I've got those flat, the one use.
yeah, I don't want a server. That's too loud.
Oh,
I mean, if it's a desktop
no,
that's got like some loud fans on, I can handle that.
no.
But fans, but server
Oh,
fans are.
you were talking about home system and stuff.
Mhm.
So, Gal, here's Wemo,
Hmm.
Belking Smart Home Company has paused development of Matter smart home device.
Uh-oh.
That's coming from
Okay.
Verge.
That's
I-
not good.
In an email exchange, Jen Wei, Vice President of Global Communications and Corporate Development at Belkin, confirmed that while the company remains convinced that Matter will have a significantly positive impact on the smart home industry, it has decided to take a big step back, regroup, and rethink its approach to the smart home, to rethink its approach to the smart home. Wei went on to write that Wemo will bring new Matter products to market when it can find a way to differentiate them. It seems like Wemo might be concerned its smart home gear is becoming co- commoditized. I don't understand. I don't understand that thing there, that they think that their gear is becoming commoditized. Of course it is. It's a commercial stuff, isn't it? But
It's
I
probably they probably understood that this is going to reduce income on other smart home stuff that they're selling. That's
oh,
my guess. Okay. And so if they're working within a certain ecosystem and of IP based, Wi Fi based, or Bluetooth based, or something like that, right? This we're talking about Belkin.
yeah.
Um, so uh, now introducing some new smart things, stuff that isn't going to interconnect with that, and it's going to create. It sounds like they are. I think it's the first time that I've heard of a company, right, explaining that because of marketing, we can't support a new technology yet, basically. So we haven't figured out the marketing yet. Sounds really, really bizarre.
Yeah.
So it might just be an excuse, but that's what it sounds they're saying.
Now, it wasn't just Belkin that went with that matter thing. It was a group of manufacturers, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, they're not talking about anybody, but I thought that there were a group of different manufacturers that went with that standard, and they went and said, "Yeah, we're going to develop it." Anyway, just thought that would be interesting for people to know. Here's something that can affect all of us in a good way. The Federal Communication Commission last week finalized rules requiring mobile carriers to block robotext messages that are likely to be illegal. Finally, the FCC described the rules as the agency's first regulations specifically targeting the increasing problem of scam text messages sent to consumers. Carriers will be required to block text messages that come from invalid, unallocated, or unused numbers. Carriers must also block text from numbers that the subscriber to the number has self identified as never sending text messages, and numbers that government agencies and other well known entities identify as not used for texting. Carriers will have to establish a point of contact for text senders so the senders can inquire about blocked text. The FCC already requires similar blocking of voice calls from these types of numbers. The order will take effect 30 days after it is published in the Federal Register, according to a draft of the order released before the meeting. Um, Maybe finally they can do something about it. Although
Sounds
the
like some sort of DKIM, the SPF
I yeah
solution
I don't know
on mail.
it really shouldn't be a problem for and here they're talking about, I mean, they're not talking about me texting you. They're talking about people that send mass, I guess. And they should have those, I mean, to see, okay, if there's more than like 2 or 3 texts coming out in 10 seconds, uh, stop and check it.
That's
Is
not how that is not how this is working at all. Is that is the filtering that you're describing is not possible for text message.
okay. Well,
The way that they're doing it is based on what you read. You've got, unused blocks of numbers that are
yeah,
not registered,
right.
that they need to do this. But what I really don't understand about all of this is how how exactly the FCC is planning on regulating. I don't know what enforcement mechanism they're going to have to enforce this, is my point.
I don't know. I didn't read
Yeah,
more
because they
than what
can't. The
that
the answer is they
article.
really can't. I
My
mean,
my point is that how do they regulate stuff that's coming from
when
outside
you
the
say
country?
"they," what do you mean? Are
The
you talking about the
FCC.
carriers?
How can they regulate some services that come from outside the country? It's like I
Well,
always
here's the
remember.
thing, it's not about the services, they're still US phone numbers, so somebody is providing the US phone number. But see, this
True,
comes back
true,
down to
true.
you're going after the people that are doing it instead of the providers, which has
Yeah,
always been the problem with this, which is why anytime the FCC brings up these rules, it's just like it's like it's like taking a bucket to the ocean and trying to drain the ocean. It's just a huge freaking waste of time. Go after the freaking providers. Somebody is providing these numbers to these companies.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
after the providers.
Good point.
I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
get it. Oh, a couple weeks
But,
ago, I mentioned that I was getting blown out of my email from, like, obviously spam emails.
yeah.
It seems to have slowed down. I don't know what happened. I've been reporting these things for weeks now. So
That's
maybe
which email?
my Gmail
Yeah.
address.
I mean, there was a lot. We talked about it last week. Oh, you weren't
Well,
here.
I wasn't
We talked
here.
about. No, wait. I don't know that we talked about it last week. I think we talked about it in one of the shows that there was a big problem with the spam detectors on Gmail for some time now. So maybe they fixed it. There were a lot of people were complaining about this. I remember either Gal or fans were saying that, yeah, they've got one of the best spam filters, but there's a problem with it.
Yeah.
Maybe they
So I don't know.
try to
I don't know
incorporate
what happened.
ChatGPT or their GPT, their AI.
What I had assumed was happening was that there was so much stuff going through that the spam filters were delayed, and because they were delayed, they were just passing through. Like, maybe there's a
Yeah,
threshold. If this email can't be checked by the spam filter within, call it 5 minutes of it sitting in a queue, just pass it along to the inbox. I assumed that's what was happening because I'd get the same email 2 days in a row, literally the same email. One would go into spam, the other would not. So obviously the spam filter knows what
yeah.
the email is. So that's what I assumed was the.
Don't assume.
Well, unfortunately, when you don't have a company that
Yeah.
has support or anybody you can talk to or anything of that nature, all you can do is assume. So,
All right. So we were talking about AI. So, Anthropic, a startup co-founded by ex-OpenAI employees, last week launched something of a rival to the viral sensation ChatGPT called Claude. Anthropic AI, a chatbot, can be instructed to perform a range of tasks, including searching across documents, summarizing, writing and coding, and answering questions about particular topics. In these ways, it's similar to OpenAI's ChatGPT. But Anthropic makes the case that Claude is much less likely to produce harmful outputs, easier to converse with, and more steerable. Organization can request access. Pricing has yet to be detailed. So it's something new.
So
Maybe
they're
it's
saying that the AI is a Claude.
yeah, it's a Claude.
Well, I prefer Git. Oh man.
Um, let's see what else we have. Now, Meta is planning to cut its workforce by another 10,000 people. It's just amazing. It just keeps on going. Um, and this, I don't know why they would. Meta, the parent firm of Facebook and Instagram, is working on a standalone text-based social network app. This is coming from the BBC. It could rival both Twitter and the decentralized competitor Mastodon. We're exploring a standalone decentralized social network for sharing text updates. According to Money Control, the new app is codenames P92 and will allow users to log in through their existing Instagram credentials. The Meta app will be based on a similar framework to the one that powers Mastodon, a Twitter like service which was launched in 2016. The new app would be decentralized. It cannot be run on the whim of a single entity, bought or sold. But this is a mobile. Actually, no, it's not mobile. I don't know where I got the idea. It's just an app. Yeah. Is it going to make things better?
Probably
Wait
not.
and see. It's still Facebook.
Well, now
Uh,
that they pissed away billions and billions of dollars on Metasphere or whatever the hell they were calling it. Now they're now they're on to the next
yeah,
thing, I guess. I don't know.
what they call it?
Uh, I don't even remember what it was called.
Forgot. Metaverse.
Yeah, but there was another name for it. It was something
I don't know.
something else.
Uh, yeah, there was
Mhm.
something this week that Reed put out something about a breach at Flex.
No, yeah, I read about that. So there was a breach. This is coming out of the investigation into the breach of LastPass, and um, it was a report by a security company who did the audit or something like that. I might be messing up all the details, but the
Yeah.
gist of it was LastPass wasn't mentioned specifically by name, I think, and so was not Plex. But the analysis of the report was uh, the to gain access to the internal network at LastPass, they were using a certain uh, uh, vulnerability in media server or that the one of the engineers in LastPass was running. So it was basically a resurfacing of an old vulnerability, explaining how that vulnerability was probably used to gain access to LastPass, and that was the cause that LastPass was breached. Uh,
Okay.
the vulnerability is no longer relevant. So it's like an outdated news analysis of something that happened like 3 to 6 months ago, or something like that.
Okay.
So that was the reason for the news, because somebody figured out how they used something back way then that caused the big break in. That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was an interesting read technically because and the take from it is to highlight is if you have an inkling of an idea, right, that you might be compromised, like if I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, you would be okay with just running the antivirus and just cleaning up after that, right? This is no longer the case. If you think you've been compromised, you need to nuke everything, you need to start from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot allow yourself uh, to just continue on and and feel safe. Uh, this is not just somebody broke in your front door, took something and left, because that same somebody who broke in through your front door might have installed a bug that is listening on you all the time, right? And this is the reality of any computer hack these days.
Okay.
Keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
All right. I had a situation this week with two programs on a computer. It The first one is sort of like brought flashback Conduit. Remember Conduit? Conduit was a company that was putting adware, and it would slow down a machine and do it. So there were two programs on that computer. One of them was Conduit. The other one was Search Protect. I said, "What are these?" So I went to read and say, "Yeah, these are that stuff." So I went ahead and I said, "Okay, so I'll just go into app and uninstall them." They weren't there.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, they were there.
Yeah,
You
but
click.
removing them is not removing them, probably. Yeah.
It doesn't. That not only does it remove them, you click on one It just comes up with a pop-up and says, "At the time we installed this, we also installed Conduit." So and that's all. And then you go to Conduit and you say uninstall. It says, "At the same time we installed this, we also installed Surge Protect." I ran Defender, didn't do anything. So from the old
You
days, I
try
said,
did you try bulk wrap uninstaller?
"No." I tried to do the uninstall that they have in CCleaner, for instance. Didn't do it. They did the same thing. I finally just went and got super anti-spyware. And
Remember
right
that.
when it started running, bang, it found it and marked it. So I didn't even go to the rest of it at that point. I just said, yeah, delete them. I mean, it was in memory and it removed it.
Yeah, it's not that it's a problem to remove, it's just a lot of steps.
Well, this
So
was
you have some
boom.
automated tools that do it. Trust me, if you would have run bulk wrap
It would
uninstaller,
have
it would have found it
okay.
and nuked it. Yeah.
But it was interesting. And it's true, it was slowing the machine big time. Because after removing these, I mean the machine started coming back to life kind of. Ah,
But how did you install it? That's my question.
how did I install he installed it somewhere. I don't know what he did.
Oh, it's somebody else's computer.
Yeah,
Okay.
some
No, that's fine. That's fine.
other
Yeah, yeah,
some
yeah, yeah, that's fine.
customer that came by. Um, Nick, you're originally from New York. So federal agents have arrested
No,
a
I'm not. I don't identify with that anymore.
okay. Big scale New York man, they say ran the notorious dark web data breach site Breach Forum under the name Pompompurin. Connor Brian Fitzpatrick was arrested by a team of investigators at his home around 4:30 p.m. Wednesday, and FBI agents said in a SOUR statement filed in court the next day. Fitzpatrick is charged with a single count of conspiracy to commit access device fraud.
Hmm.
Breach Forums hosted the stolen database of almost 1,000 companies and websites. The database often includes personal information such as names, emails, and passwords. The information is offered for sale by users of the site and can be used for fraud. Nothing else but fraud.
Well, it's a form. I mean, technically, use it for anything.
Yeah. The Pompurin profile on Breach Forums describes him as a boss man and picture of the Senrio company cartoon dog whose name he used as an online alias. The profile shows Fitzpatrick's most recent visit to the site was Wednesday at 3:53 p.m. Shortly before his arrest, the FBI agent who led the other agents in the arrest said Fitzpatrick admitted he had used the alias and was the owner and operator of Breach Forum.
Hmm.
Who knows how long he was there doing this? And really, for something like this, you can do it from home.
Sure.
You don't need anything special. Yeah. Twitter. Elon Musk seemed to be close to making good on his promise to open source Twitter code.
Hmm.
In a post on social media platform, the Twitter CEO announced that the company will open source the code used to recommend tweets on March 31st.
Ah,
Musk did not
interesting.
provide any other details about how that would work or specifically when on that date the code will be provided. What'd you say, Gal?
Interesting. That's
Yep.
very, very. I would love to see that. Let's put it that way.
Well, on the 31st.
Yeah.
Uh, t- damn. So, first of all, TikTok, I mean, more and more countries are banning them on government uh, phones. And a group of Silicon Valley executives, including investor Peter Thiel and Washington lawmakers, are quietly mobilizing against China's involvement in the U.S. tech industry ahead of TikTok CEO Capitol Hill testimony this week. They plan to meet for a private dinner on Wednesday to discuss China, national security, and the intensifying competition between the tech sectors of the US and China. Mr. Chu, the TikTok guy, is scheduled to testify the following day. Momentum against TikTok is building. The US government and the succession of other Western countries have blocked TikTok on government issued devices. The Biden administration has demanded that TikTok, let me put that. What is here? I'm
Yeah.
putting TikTok on
These are
government.
the yeah, just while you're speaking, these are the places where it's banned for different location and reasons. So
Uh,
it's becoming a thing.
Here is the thing here that I'm not following what they're talking about and who's thinking this. The Biden administration has demanded that TikTok's Chinese owners sell their stakes in the video sharing app or face a possible U.S. ban.
Mhm.
This coming from the Wall Street Journal. What do
Yeah,
you
it's
mean sell it?
show us that uh,
I mean, you
if
sell
I
it.
they
can tell.
own
No,
it, they have clout, they can make decisions. So
No, no,
I
no.
can
But
explain this. I can explain this. I had a
okay,
conversation with on my radio show this week with Senator Ted Budd,
okay,
and the process. It's TikTok is a Chinese-based company, but there is a U.S. subsidiary of TikTok, and
okay,
they operate as a company in the United States. It's
okay.
not like you're installing a Chinese app on your phone. You're installing an app that is an American company, which is the TikTok US. I mean, it's like no different than think about like a Volkswagen, Amnon. There's or Nissan. There's
Yeah,
Nissan
yeah,
USA.
yeah.
There's Nissan Europe. I mean, they're all over the place. It's the same thing with that. So there's a push now to, and it's funny. I think context is important. So on my radio show, I went and pulled an article from a couple of years ago when former President Donald Trump
Hmm.
brought this point up about this. There were headlines written like the one at the New Yorker that called him a xenophobic bigot
Yeah.
who wanted to ban TikTok. And of course, now that the Democrats are thinking of doing it, it's the best idea we've ever heard. This has been a national security concern for years now.
Yeah.
This I cannot believe this has been allowed to go unchecked for so long. It is truly amazing how long this has gone on.
Well, the thing though that I don't understand here, and who's thinking these things, sell it. They can sell it to anybody. They can start another company and sell it to them. It's still a Chinese controlled.
Correct.
You know, I mean,
Part of what's being discussed, however, is having a company like Oracle or Microsoft, one of these other companies, being the ones providing the server infrastructure for this instead of it being provided by essentially the Chinese Communist Party in TikTok. That's been some of the discussion. Don't you remember back over 2 years ago, there was a discussion that Microsoft or Oracle was going to buy them?
yeah,
That's why,
yeah.
because they were going to be providing the server infrastructure for this to keep some of that data in the United States, or at least be careful of what data is allowed to make it out of the United States.
I don't know.
It's very complicated.
Yeah. It seems to me, and this reminds me of some of the tactics of Middle Eastern dictators that tell you something to delay you, and in the meantime, do things that they want to do. It's just like this is going to take, let's say that they decide, okay, yeah, we're going to sell it. You don't think it's going to happen the week after. It's going to take years, probably.
That's not true. The government could force a fire sale. Absolutely not. It could very much take place.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. It's not going to take a day, but the government forces a sale of TikTok, which they could do. Then it would be a pretty quick process. I think you'd be surprised. And here's the thing:
Well, I guess we'll have
you've
to wait
already
and
got it banned on government devices,
Right.
or there's a bill going through right now to ban it on government devices. In North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper signed an executive order to do that. The state legislature then he passed that in December while they were out of session. Since the legislature came back into session, they have passed a similar bill and the governor has signed it. So it's going to be banned on government devices in North Carolina. A lot of other states are doing that as well. Um, I just, I think understanding the metadata profile that could be built by an adversary like China is something that everybody should be very
worried,
um,
worrisome about.
worried and skeptical of. And I mean, you look at a country, and I know they would say the same thing about us, but you look at a country that does not have the U.S. best interests in mind.
Right.
And if you need any more examples of that, take a look at how they are now coming in and funneling cash into the Russian economy
Mhm.
to continue to prop up what's going on in Ukraine. Um, you've got them, you've got parts of the Chinese government that is funding ISIS in the Middle East to battle against ISIS-K. I mean, there's a lot of geopolitical stuff that that China is in the midst of,
Mhm.
and I don't know why. Again, I don't know why this has been allowed to go unchecked for so long. I mean, I partially know why, but it's so stupid.
It is. It is. It's not like there's
Because
nothing
imagine
they
this:
could.
if it was a Russian company right now, oh my god, the boycotts, the
Mhm.
unbelievable, these damn
Yeah.
Ruskies. I mean, it would just be the most awful thing in the world. Yet China can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So
It's worth following and seeing what they're going to do, and I'm sure
yeah, there's
we'll talk
as you
about it.
mentioned, he's the I think it was like was Chu is his last name. He is the CEO of
Yeah.
the U.S. subsidiary of TikTok. He's going to be um, testifying Thursday in front of the maybe it's the Intel committee, the House Intel committee. It's one of the House committees. I don't remember exactly which one. So there'll be probably a lot of good sound bites.
So is this going to be as cringy as the Senate committee or was it Congress with what's his name with
With
Zuckerberg?
Zuckerberg, no, I don't. I don't. I think not. I mean, the, I think the difference. I mean, it could be, and you bring up a great point when they were asking Zuckerberg why he's allowing Google results to show up on Google, and he's like, "Well, I'm the CEO of Facebook, so I have no freaking idea about why." Um, no, I don't think so because this is a single company, and it's really all. This is more of a proxy war with China than it is the app itself. That's all this is about.
I
Is
wonder if
putting
it'll
trying to put
be,
China
yeah,
in.
around what it'll be.
Yeah. No, they're going to grill this guy. And I think Jim Jordan, I think, is the one that leads that. So, or no, he doesn't. He leads judiciary. There's some. Michael Lee leads it, the senator from Utah. He's a pretty technically, at least from what I've heard in the past, pretty smart technical guy. So I'm sure he'll lead the conversation in a good direction. I'm curious what they have to say about it. How are they gonna justify what they're doing?
And most of the damage is already done.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's like literally they've got petabytes of data
Yeah.
on people inside the United
Yeah.
States. I mean, the damage is done. The question is, though, that data that they have, it's metadata, and it's it's locked in time. So
Mhm.
if they get banned or blocked, that data as you go on becomes less and less relevant.
Correct.
Um, so that's the benefit of acting on it now from my vantage. I interviewed Ted Budd about it on Tuesday. Um, and he's pretty adamant that something needs to be done. He's our senator, one of our senators here in North Carolina.
Well, I don't know that there's anybody, any senator or congressman that would say, "No, we shouldn't ban it."
No, no,
There
but there
are?
are some that are more vocal than others, and
Yeah.
he's one of the
I'm
vocal.
I'm not against the banning. I just want everything to be banned like this.
When you
Let's
say
ban
everything, like
Twitter.
what?
Let's ban Facebook.
Oh,
Oh my, those are terrible.
well, here's the thing though. There are different level of terrible. Terrible for society versus
No, I'm talking
being
about
collect.
tracking. I'm talking about allowing
Yeah.
them to track you in such granularity
Mhm.
as right. And no amount of technology is going to change that because they make it so convenient, right? To be to use it and track you that it doesn't really matter what type of technological solution we come with because there's no regulation, they will continue to exist and they will continue to lure people in, right? So I am okay with setting up a technological solution for myself, but it doesn't mean most people are, right? So, yeah. Yep.
All right. And Microsoft has announced a new AI-powered Copilot for its Microsoft 365 apps and services.
Lippy
The-
is back.
Who?
Lippy is back.
Designed to assist people with generating documents, emails, presentations, and much more. The Copilot, powered by GPT-4 from OpenAI, will sit alongside Microsoft 365 apps, much like an assistant. Remember Clippy?
That's exactly what
Yeah.
this.
Appearing in the sidebar as a chatbot that allows Office users to summon it to generate text in documents, create PowerPoint presentations based on Word documents, or even help use features like pivot tables in Excel. Microsoft Copilot leaked earlier today. It works alongside you, embedded in the apps millions of people use every day: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, and more. That's coming from Microsoft 365 head Jared Spataro. Copilot is a whole new way of working. Microsoft 365 users will be able to summon Copilot to provide information on an upcoming Microsoft Teams meeting, preparing people with updates on related projects, organizational changes like recent hires. And you think about maybe it will recommend who to fire, and even updates on coworkers who might have returned from vacation.
So let me. I've used Microsoft 365 in my previous workplace, right before AI was introduced in such a way, and the way it knows thing about how you work and how you behave and how you interact with other people at work, right? Back then, I worked in the company. It had, I think, close to 2,000 employees, right? So I, if if I used all of its tools, one of its tools there is about shared documents and correspondence with people that I work with. So, because it knows that I interchange emails with certain people, it would have shown me recent documents that are shareable with me. It's not like they shared it with me, it's just in a shared location
Mhm.
that I can access. Recent documents that they edited, I was able to see, right? Look, you're working with this and this person. These are the documents they recently updated in regards to the emails that you've been right. That already existed. So that type of interaction and making things, come to the surface was already
There.
part of it in place. Earlier, well, late last year, right? Microsoft, which is GitHub, which is owned by Microsoft, they've introduced GitHub Copilot, same name, by the way, right? GitHub Copilot, and that is an AI, and I'm assuming it's driven by the same GPT algorithms. Um, it's an AI that ingests everything that's open source in GitHub, right? And uses that to teach the AI to code. And while you're coding, it prompts you and suggests you pieces of code. So it codes for you. And a lot of the media content that I saw about it costs money to participate, and I didn't sign in for the free trial. So a lot of people who were using it, right, reported back that this is like a game changer. This is not just intelligence of it's knowing which variable names you wanted to enter. It gives you complete snippets of code based on what you're doing. And sometimes it gives you a substantial piece of code that, yes, this is what you would have come up with, but it's even better than what you started with, right? And mind. So, really, really, really game changing stuff. This, I mean, I know that this was the idea when they introduced Clippy back in the 90s, but right, this is done right. If Clippy would have suggested these things in the way it's going to do it this time, right, it would have been a game changer. Back then, it was just okay. This is just a stand-in for something smart that'll come later, and it was never the case, right? It took a long time. So this is a brave new world.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I got to run.
Okay.
So I will see y'all next week.
Thank you, Nick.
Yep. Thank you guys. Toodaloo.
Have fun.
Bye.
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 I guess that's it for today. Huh?
Hmm.
Eh, Why am I thinking there was another helper to Office before Clippy?
Well, there's Cortana,
No, no, no.
but
Old. Like
before Clippy,
yeah.
I don't
I
remember
don't know.
anyway. There was, I mean, they had the this is a Windows 1 or a Windows 2 application uh, that instead of the graphical user interface would have looked like an office, but it's something that didn't really get
No.
a lot of use. I
Obviously, I
remember
mean none of them do.
retro review in it, but
All right. Anything else? Gal?
nope.
All right. Well, thanks again, Gal. Thanks, Nick. Spence. Katie, if you're listening, I hope you're having fun down there. And so again, good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. And change same passwords where you use them. Do not use the same password to different places. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Remember, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM with his daily news and commentary. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave and listen to him, I guess, anywhere. or you can go to the recordings on nickcraig.com. And Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Nick and Brian do the Infection Podcast on Twitch. This coming week, I believe it's going to be actually on Wednesday. So 7 p.m., normally on Tuesday evening at twitch.tv/Infection Podcast, a show about survival games, gaming news, etc. Have a great week, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.